Mr. Grimes is the Chief Executive Officer with CFO Leasing Incorporated and a strategic advisor with Run Level Media. CFO Leasing Incorporated is one of the leading government accounting and business consulting firms in the Southeast. Mr. Grimes has worked with international and foreign companies in the United States, Dubai, and Iraq, and I'm happy to tell you he just got back from Dubai and Iraq, so we appreciate him making time to come here. In 2010, CFO Leasing has successfully supported clients in over $4 billion in federal contracts. Now listen to this. Mr. Grimes has been featured in Black Enterprise magazine, locally in the Atlanta Business Chronicle, and the Atlanta Tribune. Mr. Grimes is a veteran of the elite United States Navy nuclear submarine force and is widely held as the youngest person in naval history to graduate #1 from basic enlisted submarine school. There's more. He earned a master's degree in accounting and graduated magna cum laude from Florida Metropolitan University. He also is pursuing a doctoral degree in the field of business leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for Mr. Kevin Grimes.
What I want to do is give you 3 quick stories and keep it brief. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm going to dispel some of the myths and some of the lies that you'll hear, and then I'm going to close it, and it's going to be just that simple. I entered the Navy at 17 years old, and I was the youngest person in all 4 branches. The very first thing I was told when I entered the Navy was, the Navy doesn't want people like you. That was my introduction to the Navy. That motivated me. I went to boot camp, 17 years old, and I graduated second. Went to submarine school, graduated first. Still wasn't 18 years old yet. Went to my trade school, graduated #1 there. The thing that you have to kind of remember is that I still didn't have a high school education. All I had was determination. All I had was a will, and in the back of my mind, I had that one hater that told me that the Navy didn't want me. So as I went to the Navy, this is where I really found the importance of education. I was 18 years old on a submarine, and I was considered an up-and-comer. And I was being mentored by a gentleman who was 36 years old. And in the military, that's kind of old because they've been in 18 years, they can retire in 2 years. This person was my mentor, someone that I looked up to. And a 22-year-old officer came on board, and I watched this enlisted man call this officer sir. And in essence, he was teaching him how to be his boss. And I stepped back from that and I said, that it just didn't feel right. And at the time, I'm only 18 years old, so I could go either way with this thing. I could stay as an enlisted or I could be an officer. The one thing that separated them, and the only thing that separated them, was a college degree. You cannot be an officer in the military without a college degree. So by virtue of having a college degree, this 22-year-old was in charge of this 36-year-old. This 22-year-old didn't know how to turn the light switch on a submarine, but he was in charge of someone who'd been there 18 years. At that point, I really understood the value of certifying what I knew. It wasn't enough just to be smart or bright. You really have to certify what you know because that's what people recognize. The military is a wonderful thing. Thank God for our troops. I appreciate all the work that they're doing. But if you really want to see an example of a classism system, just look at the military. Even in the Navy, the uniforms that the enlisted people wear have actual blue collars. And there's a prime example of a working class and a management class through the officers and enlisted. So when that happened, I saw that, and I said to myself, the first chance I get to get out of the military, I'm going to get out, I'm going to go to college, and I'm never going to look back. And so when I left, I went to receive my AA degree, my bachelor's degree, master's degree, and then pursued doctoral studies. Education is an empowering thing. It is the one tool that can liberate you. Now I'm going to tell you about some of the lies or myths, and I want to kind of dispel those for you guys. One of the things I heard growing up in life, I still hear it today, is people will tell you that college is not for everyone. And they boast that, and it's supposed to be almost a fact. But you have to understand who's saying that stuff. I mean, if you go to affluent neighborhoods or neighborhoods where people are rich, they're not saying those kind of things. You know, they have high schools just like we do, but then they have alternative high schools. But those schools are called Montessori schools, they're called college prep schools, they're called academies, to further instill into their students and their children that you need to go to college. Now in the inner cities, we have high schools as well. And we also have derivatives of high schools, but they call them trade schools, vocational schools, cosmetology schools. It's almost telling us that college isn't for everyone. So here's the thing that I kind of started to think about. If you're a president of the United States, roughly 95% of your kids go to college. If you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, roughly 95% of your kids go to college. If you're in the Senate or any high-ranking political office, 95% of your kids go to college. So if college isn't for everyone, why does it seem like all their kids go to school? So you really have to understand who's telling you that message. College is for everyone. Certify what you know. Even if you want to be an electrician, get your electrical licenses. And the things you're accomplishing now, don't stop. Some of you may go off and work in the medical building, medical assistant arena, and you're going to find that you love it. Some of you, like many people I know, are going to practically run these companies without pay. There is nothing stopping you from going back to school, getting your business degree, and starting your own medical building company, and then coming back to Everest and hiring 50 people to work for you. So, college is for everyone. Remember that. The other lie or myth that I want to dispel for you is that some people take that a smaller or lesser school means a smaller or lesser person. And let me break this one down all the way for you. You take a kid from an Ivy League school and a kid from Everest. You have them both go to Barnes & Noble and have them read the same book and ask them to write a book report. You know which student is going to write the best book report? The smartest one. A smart person is going to be smart no matter where they go. You look at children and you have them do a little competition, the smartest kid is going to win. It doesn't matter where they're from, what side of town. A smart person is going to be smart no matter where you come from. So when someone, I don't think they will, but if someone ever tries to look at your degree, just tell them, you need to hire me for what I know, not for where I learned it. The last myth is that your past is going to determine how much success you have. That's the biggest lie. A lot of times, people would use your past to try to hold you down, to hold you back. Some of you, when you wanted to come back to school, they might have used your age as a crutch. You're how old when you want to go back to school? They might have used your kids as an excuse. You have how many kids? Some of them may have heard the name of the school and tried to use the name of the school to keep you from going to school. You want to go where? Your past does not determine where you go, how far you go in life. Let me give you 2 or 3 examples. You've had one president of the United States that smoked weed, but said he didn't inhale. You had another president who smoked weed and said he inhaled because that was the whole point of smoking weed. You have plenty of political people in Congress who have bankrupted multiple companies in any other school, but they still get opportunities. They still get chances. Steve Jobs went to college and didn't graduate. And in case you don't know who Steve Jobs is, he owns this very small company that makes little gadgets called iPods, iPads, iTouches. Never graduated college. But he can go to any college he wants to right now and talk about being an entrepreneur. So your past does not limit you. People will try to take your baggage and use it as a crutch. Don't let them. Because if you are as successful as you are supposed to be, no one's going to care about your past. And throughout my whole story, you guys have been listening to me, you kind of appreciate some of the things I've said. Who in here cares that I had a GED? I mean, really, who cares? So if you do what you're supposed to do, your past will be irrelevant. The only one that can stop you from achieving your dreams and being successful is you. And one last point on that one, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You have to participate now. And now I'll close because I promised to be brief, and as a participant, I hate long-winded speakers. I want to give you a story about an acorn. And this is going to be corny, but twist it and use it however you want. An acorn, and I didn't know this 6 months ago despite all the education, that is the seed that grows an oak tree. So as powerful and as mighty as an oak tree is, it starts from a small acorn. Well, that acorn has a destiny, just like you are. Now, a lot of people might try to make you into something that you're not designed to be. And let me give you an example. So this acorn is designed to be an oak tree. There may be a farmer, i.e. parent or spouse, that'll look at you and say, you should be an attorney, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, scientist. Well, that's as ridiculous as taking that acorn and planting it in an apple orchard and expecting an apple tree to come out of it. That acorn is going to be an oak tree no matter what you do with it. You can put that acorn in any environment, in any state, in any field, in any farmer's hand, and it is still going to be an oak tree. The second thing about that acorn is that everything that it needs to be an oak tree is already inside of it. All it needs is water and sunlight. So you don't have to go out and play with other people, do other things, modify yourself, alter yourself, try to change the essence of who you are. Whatever you are destined to be, it is already inside of you. All you have to do is step back and unlock it. Don't let other people interfere with your genetics, interfere with your DNA. You are designed to be something great. Your something great is different from somebody else's something great. Just like that acorn, it will never be an orange tree. It'll never be an apple tree. It'll never be a pear tree. It will always be an oak tree. And you will always be you. Don't ever lose the essence of who you are. Don't ever let anyone alter your course, because there's something inside of you that only you understand. And you need to slowly and over time unlock that and stay true to yourself. And that's all I have.
Pretty great. So, I think the big thing I took out of my time in speaking with Mr. Grimes is really one thing as I was sitting there: driven, and that is his focus, and that is why he's where he's at today.